Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back for some Club Condo. And sorry for you if you're not watching because we got a ton of great stuff to talk about here with Chappell. Chappell, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good,
Can we
Rob.
also, just while we're here, can we say some other disparaging remarks about the people not watching or listening?
Yeah, what do you want to talk like who do we want to drag for not watching or listening? I got time.
Yeah, to the people that aren't watching or listening, what's your deal? What are you, too
Yeah.
good for a Club Condo?
Jeff has said pretty much every episode that you should come listen to the podcast. I'm pretty sure verbatim he said something to the effect of Club Condo is officially a part of Survivor and I love it. Was that the
You know,
quote?
I didn't even pull the clip this week because I'm so spoiled that there's Club Condo stuff every single week.
He said it's officially a part of Survivor and I love it.
Yeah.
When we make the Club Condo commercial for next season, you and I don't have to do anything. Just play the clip, roll the footage of Jeff Probst being like, "What are you doing? You're sitting there on the couch. You're not doing anything. You're watching Survivor. Go listen to the Club Condo podcast. The Know It Alls is cute or whatever, but this is
Yeah.
Jeff's favorite Survivor podcast."
The Club Condo ratings and comments are through the roof. So appreciate everybody, all of our new listeners who are joining us because of Jeff's constant promotion of Club Condo on Survivor. Thank you. We appreciate you for being here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well for everything we're doing over here at Club Condo. Chappell, what's new with you?
I mean, this hoochie mama Jeff is just obsessed with us, and it's kind of incredible. As far as new for me, like I said, I'm in an interesting spot because every week I come in, I say I'm very excited about the season. It's doing things, and right now I'm excited because the online community is getting spicy. I like when the fans are
What are you seeing?
passionate.
What are you
Well,
tasting?
I like when the fans are passionate about Survivor. Yeah, sure, I love like we should do the split here and we should do this stuff. Whatever, that's cute. But I like when the fans really get on their high horse about like the way the game should be played. Like, should it be the physical threats? Should it be the like the nerds? Should they all come together? Do we care about the social game anymore? I like when the fans are passionate about the game Survivor, not so much when they're mad at contestants for just existing, but when they're talking about the actual show we're watching and the quality of the show. And so I'm happy about that because Rob, from what I understand, the ratings have been no, they haven't been as great. They haven't been that great in the last couple episodes. So hopefully, with this amount of passion, we see some bounce back for the next couple episodes.
Okay, now I have not tracked the TV ratings particularly as close as one Survivor has, but yeah, check this out. As Chappell alludes to, our intrepid TV reporter on the scene, had this to announce. Said over on social media. Also, the ratings dropped, by the way.
Without Cedric and Say, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. The ratings for Survivor might be down, but the ratings for Club Condo are always rising, especially when we have so much Say content to talk about every week. Again, Say was such a lightning rod for confessionals, for drama, for the votes that I'm not shocked that he lost a little bit of energy. But this week, David and some of his comments about the downtrodden in this game, the marginalized communities in this game, taking back Survivor and making it their own again. I feel like that's what I needed. I needed this type of mess to keep me going. I'm having a good time.
Okay, well, David has been one of the people that is a front runner for this new type of alliance on Survivor. An alliance not of the outcast, the downtrodden, the weak, an alliance of the strong, finally coming together to make a run in this game. And yeah, there was some pushback from some folks online about this, but David also had a lot to say in order to speak up for himself. First off, he really highlighted the work of one analyst in particular. Check this out, Chappell.
Okay.
Here is David took to social media to say, I'll take the assessment of two professionals and experienced players over the keyboard warriors any day. If you want a good analysis of season 48, episode 8, listen to Rob's podcast with Stephen Fishback. Great analysis and read on almost everything.
Okay. Well, I listened to that podcast. it's no club condo, but it's fine.
Mhm.
Steven be saying stuff. Rob, you do a really good job of making sure that we don't lose Steven. But David and Steven, they're aligned in a lot of ways. Steven is very much all in on the hey, this bring back hot people. Bring back
Yep.
hot people to Survivor. David, objectively a muscular, attractive man, probably that Steven could get along with in the game. We know Steven loves aligning with physical threats, and it always works out for him. Gets him far into the game every time he plays. And so I'm not shocked by this at all. But I don't know. To me, David just doesn't have the data to support his claim that physical threats are just like we're tired of getting used as shields. We're real players too. I don't know, Rob. Do you think he has a point here? Because I just don't see it.
Yeah, I do think he has a point. I think that in terms of in the new era, I don't think that there have been that many big, strong, physical guys in a particular season. And so I think that what is rare about David and Joe in particular, and maybe Eva as a third, is that the strong threats have not really ever banded together. They're typically... It's not so much the nerds and the game bots who are going after them, but often the big, strong threats go after each other.
Yeah, I mean, this happens. Sometimes it feels like, again, if you're running a race, you only have to beat the person that's slower than you. You gotta, sometimes like if you're running from a tiger, right? You gotta beat the guy behind you. And so for the physical threats, it's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get picked off to be a physical threat, but this other physical threat can go before I can, right? Like, let's make him a target. And so I think there's something there. But I just think that this is a very physical cast, for one, in particular, versus most of the cast that we've had in the new era anyway. So it's like if you're comparing it to the other cast, like, okay, let's say last season, the big physical threats had to come together and they were going to take back Survivor. Okay, so you have Kyle, you have Gabe, you have TK, you got Rachel,
Sam.
Sam. Like it's not the same. It's not the same as Captain America, The Rock, and all these other people. The Avengers that we have on this season. So it feels a little different. And I'd say that in most seasons of the new era, you don't have this many just physically imposing people that you just know you have to get out at some point, or they're going to win it all. The seasons that do have physically imposing people, I'd say that some of them go out, but then typically they will do well as well. So it's like, yeah. Jeremy Collins goes out early in San Juan del Sur. But I mean, look at there were other physical threats there as well, right? There's like, the baseball guy, the other muscle guy. Yeah. These people exist, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Other muscle people's around. Cole Metters goes out relatively early in his season, but then you see, Ben Driebergen ends up winning that season. Chris Noble goes, but then Dom and Wendell basically walk to the end. Michael Yerger's there. He's a big guy, a muscular guy as well. John Hennigan's on the Goliath tribe, but I mean, there are other Goliaths there as well. Hot Cop Dan, Alec Merlino. Ultimately, Nick Wilson challenged his way to a victory there. And, so it's like these people that you're saying are being used as shields. A lot of times they're getting beaten by the other people who would get used as shields as well. So I just felt like, I just don't know what he's been expecting thus far. But whoever got in his head and told him, the physical people need to take the game back, they did a really good job of giving him a strategy that seems to be working for him and Joe and Eva. And I'm happy that, he's been able to identify a strategy and go with it. But it just sounds like, again, there's just not the data to support that. I just don't see it.
Okay. Chappell, first off, do you like the rebrand of Rob as a podcast with Stephen Fishback?
No. No? What? No, that's what I said. You do a really good job of keeping Steven in the game, okay? Mm-hmm. Because Steven just wants to start a hot people podcast for you and by you. That's what he wants. Steven's hot people podcast. He wants to give out the fishy to the hottest survivor of the week. And so David's like, let Steven run, let him cook. But you're there too.
Okay,
and you're doing a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So also hear some pushback from David in the replies that when I talked to Chrissy the other day, Chrissy said, no, that the picking of the people was nothing like what was on the show. She said that Chrissy claimed that Joe said right off the bat, I got Eva. And it was not edited in the way that it was on the show. Whereas David says that talking about Chrissy, she also said that Joe and Eva picked each other first, which is quite literally wrong. They were the last pick as represented in the edit. So we got a real he said, she said.
We do. I mean, we have to go off of what we actually see on the screen because, as you know, from host of Rob Has a Podcast, Stephen Fishback, that, these exit interviews are not canon.
Not canon.
Yeah. And so we have to go with David on this one. But, I mean, Joe and Eva don't have to choose each other in this round for us to know that they are a tight pair because literally every other moment they've had in the game, they've chosen each other quite publicly in front of everybody. And so, yeah, I think there's kind of like splitting hairs when it comes to, this is a revealing thing about these alliances. At least for Joe and Eva, I think we've all been calling that for a very long time. And it's pretty obvious to the people out there as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Also, David had another post that was a little cryptic, Chappell. Do you think you could get to the bottom of this one? David said, people will provoke you until you too must exhibit strength and then play victim when you do. They are the true gaslighters. Now, I had this same exact message in my fortune cookie this weekend.
Mm-hmm. And how did that work out for you?
Very wise. Yes.
Very wise. You feel like you could take this one and you can use this?
People will provoke you until you too must exhibit strength and then play victim when you do. They are the true gaslight. Is this a social media take or is this a response to the people in the game?
I feel okay. So my knee-jerk reaction is that this is a response to the people in the game because Chrissy has the luxury of being in a position where she can get in front of the tribal council and say, no, we have to target these people. We have to target the strong people. And David probably feels like, okay, but as a strong person, I'm not allowed to defend myself because then I'm like yelling at her and telling her that her way of playing the game is not valid when I feel like she's telling me my way of playing the game is not valid. Now, I disagree with that, obviously. I feel like, yes, Chrissy is on her way out of the door, so she's doing anything that she can to put the blame on you, David, and the strong people, because that's what she should be doing. And David, as somebody who is a front runner, yeah, you can definitely feel like we need to take the game back. I think my issue here is that you shouldn't be saying it. You should be saying, no, we're down to work with everybody. What are you talking about? There is no strong person alliance. But for you to sit there and be like, Chrissy, you're going home. We're back, baby. We're taking this game back to the way it was supposed to be played. The strong taking the strong, iron sharpening iron, coaches somewhere at home like fist pumping. Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So
we'll get to him in a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like just that's the mistake is that you shouldn't be saying this. The smaller and weaker people physically should not know that is your mantra. Your mantra should be, no, there's no alliance. There's no hierarchy. There's no ranking. It's like a chain, Rob. It's not, it's like, okay, we got different links between these two people, but there's no person above the next person.
Hey, the chain can connect in a circle.
It can connect in a circle. Exactly. You get it. And so, yes, this is not what he's saying, though. He's like, sorry, Chrissy, you're down, and whoever else is weak is next, too. A floater's grab or life vest or something like that. That's the energy it gave. And so you can exhibit strength.
Yeah.
But you have to know that there has to be some tact in this game because, as Camilla points out, jury votes will be decided later on.
Chappell, I really felt like this last tribal council, it definitely was giving sort of like a Big Brother 22 type situation of like, there's a big group of people. There's people at the bottom of the big group of people who know they're at the bottom of the big group, but they're afraid to make a move. And it's like the one person who's on the outs is like the person that has the courage to like, I'll tell you what's going on around here. And everybody's like, goodbye, unanimous vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's the same exact way. Like these physical people, they're bonded by a higher cause. You know what I'm saying? Some of this is bigger than Survivor. This is basically the physical cookout. It's like, yeah, we didn't have to make a strong alliance. Yeah, the workout alliance. The workout alliance, we don't have to talk about it. It's unspoken. We have all these other lines, but deep down, we're gonna try to give a marginalized community a chance to win the game. And
they're playing for a bigger cause, and that bigger cause is huge muscle. Biceps,
the guns, the abs. They're playing for the gains, the pump. I just feel like they looked at the new era. They said, "Huh." Erica's, we got your jabs. It's like these people could be physical threats. They could win immunity, but they ain't us. And so, for the first time in the new era, this community has to stand together for a higher power. And what are we going to do? We can't, I can't knock them for advocating for themselves. So you go, David. I just really feel like, a little tone deaf. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Chappelle, in fairness, that they're doing it for the people out there who look like them, who are looking at the show and saying like, hey, I've never seen a person who looks like me win the game.
Yeah. I mean, if you just started watching during COVID, then no, you have not. So maybe, and we know so many of them have just started watching during COVID. In fact, David, famously could not point out Jeff Probst if he needed to out of a lineup. And so I think that, maybe
I think he knew who he was. I don't think he knew his last name.
Yeah, he's like Jeff Kogan. Jeff Chin. One of them people.
One of those Jeff guys.
One of the Jeffs.
Yeah. Okay. So, Chappelle, let me also bring in a social media clip also. Ooh. Because now I very sadly did not get to go to the Ron Clark Academy this past week, but Ron Clark does a great event. I know he told us about it when he was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. One of the great interviews I've had this season. By the way, Kelly Wentworth interview also coming soon. That's going to be the next podcast I do after this one. So we'll check in with Kelly Wentworth and see what she has to say about all of these things. But check out this. And this is from a clip of my guest from last week's Old School interview, Sandra Diaz-Twine, talking with the great Carolyn Weaker. Okay. And Carolyn was at the Ron Clark Academy and she had a run-in with David. Listen to this story.
Who is Nick?
Nips, the guy with 4 nipples. Really just hit my, that's not what she said. Muscly nipples all over.
That's not what she said. Is that like a office type thing?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Start it over.
Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's Sandra and Carolyn.
Who is Nick?
Nips, the guy with 4 nipples. Really just hit my, that's not what she said. Muscly nipples all over. And then he says, your time's over.
He said your time is over to you?
Yep. It's not over, Nips. No, it ain't. I'm just getting started.
Oh, my God.
No, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah.
I love Sandra being like, well, girl, okay. I know that's right. Well, yeah. So David has thrown down the gauntlet against the Carolyns of the world. He said, this quirky social game player, that people underestimate, your time is up. You're done.
Oh, I think not even literally Carolyn, the Carolyn types of player, your time is up.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is bigger than just Carolyn. Because don't get me wrong, him trying to end Carolyn's reality TV career right off the heels of her, amazing run on The Traitors and her massive popularity is wild. But I think it's more to say that, the Davids are here now. The Davids are now the Goliaths, Rob. They've evolved, and they will not stand for these other types of game players. Who was it? Oh man, well, I can't even remember which Survivor said this damn quote. But we're pushing the nerds back into the lockers. You know what I'm saying? That's Co-Wrong. That guy. Yeah, they're pushing
Kyle
the
Jason?
nerds back into the locker.
Scott Pollard? Yeah.
No, Kyle Jason. Yeah, he's like, we're pushing the nerds back into the locker. The brains are going back into their holes, and the brawn are here to stay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see if it holds this time.
We'll see. Now, we have seen games like this play before. And I want to speak on that a little bit too. I think David feels like people are upset with him for playing this type of game. If this type of game works for you, go for it. It's just not fun to watch on TV. It's boring. I shouldn't know who's going to go home at the beginning of the episode of Survivor, and it goes along with the end of the episode of Survivor. Even when we don't see the vote flip back to Chrissy, nobody asked any questions. We were like, oh, they probably just changed their mind. There was no inciting incident. It was just it was going to be Chrissy. People were like, if she hadn't ran her mouth last week, no, she probably was still going to go because she's not in that alliance. And that's just how these things go. So it's in order to keep the game fresh and fun, we like to see wild swings in the game. We like to see things go the opposite direction. If you're listening to this and you're about to go play Survivor, do that. Play poorly. Let us have something that we can talk about every week. But if you want to play an optimal game for someone like David, that's probably what he's doing. And so I'm not going to knock him too much on that. But don't get mad at us for being bored. You take your money and go.
Okay, Chappelle. This week, we're going to see what is the fallout from all this? Do you think that we're going to see a shakeup following this week's 9-1 vote?
Yeah, how do you not want to shake this up if you're Shaheen, right? Like, oh my God, Shaheen is like, you're the target essentially here. You know, they're targeting Chrissy and they're targeting Camilla because they think that Shaheen is good with her. And to me, I'm like, that for me, if I'm him, I'm like, okay, that means you're coming after me. Now they don't realize this. Shaheen probably incorrectly, but doesn't realize this as well. But Kyle and Camilla is the actual pair here. But now Kyle has some ammo. He knows that they're coming after his girl. Camilla has some ammo because she knows that she is the one that you're trying to get. And Shaheen, who thinks he's in a tight two with Camilla, he also has a reason to flip at this point. So maybe there's some space for Mitch and Star to make some moves against the majority physical alliance, but at the same time, Eva has an advantage. And Survivor's doing some weird stuff with this advantage as far as I'm concerned. So I'd love to see if it actually turns out to do anything moving forward. Or I guess she doesn't even technically have the advantage yet, right?
She has to go get it. It's go get it tomorrow night.
That's kind of boring to me. Not so much that she has to go get the advantage because whatever. But I'm in the past, I always find when they're like, you got to go get it tomorrow night. That's really a nothing. I think there's one time where they're like, okay, you must get a torch and go into the middle of the night into the forest and get your advantage. Was that Jeremy? No,
so
it was
they've
somebody.
done it a couple times where Jeremy Collins just had to walk down the beach.
He just walked in the forest. Yeah, I was like, that's nothing.
Go get it. They did to Vince Sly, and also I think that Sarah Lucina had to do it too. Of sneak into the other camp at nighttime.
Oh, that's the wrong Vince.
Vince Moawa. Yeah,
Mawa, I think it is. Yeah,
yes,
wrong
yes,
Vince.
Yes.
That's the more entertaining version is get the soot from the fire and put it on your face and then crawl out of there, and that's pretty cool. And go get an ember. That's pretty cool. But the Jeremy thing, not to continue this strong person bias, but he just walked down the beach and it was like, oh look. An advantage for me. So that's why I say I typically am not that excited about this kind of thing, but I do find it fascinating that Survivor is leaning into this. We want the physical people to do well now. We've cast David, we cast Joe, we've cast Eva on the same season. We've cast Kyle, who's not physical. I think that even some of the pre-mergers, we talked about, Kevin could have been very physical in these challenges as well. How
about this also, Chappelle? Then they gave an advantage to the person that won the challenge.
And they made somebody who lost the challenge lose their vote.
Yeah.
Rob, it's now we want you to start winning shit, because if you win a challenge, then you can get an advantage. And if you lose a challenge, you could possibly lose your vote. I feel like if anything was saying we're back in on hot physical people, this was the episode where we really planted our flag. Are they correcting the wrongs of season 46? Was season 46 pretty anti-physical people?
I don't know. Maria and Charlie and Q had all deep runs in the season. I don't know if it was anti-physical people.
Right. And I think they actually did have a big, strong person alliance too that just didn't stick together. I
didn't gel.
It didn't really stay. And so, I don't know. I don't know why Survivor's doing this, but I think they're all in on let's start rewarding people for being more physical. And and I will give them this. They haven't done that in a while.
Okay, so it was a 9-1 vote, and I did see some people getting upset about, why didn't the people on the bottom try to flip this thing? And so let's check in with your guy, Mitch, who was on the receiving end of what's going on. Why didn't we flip it? Mitch says, who voted for Chrissy, we didn't have the numbers.
And I'm sure the response is I had the numbers last week, But it's so funny because it feels like so much has changed, right? It's what happened in the last roughly 48 hours that has led Chrissy and them from being you need to make a move, but not this week, to now is the time to make a move. No, what are you doing? It's if you felt that strongly 2 days ago, I said, it hasn't been a very long time. You felt that way, roughly 40 hours ago. I think that might have been the chance to make the move, no?
When it was the tribal council where they sent Say home?
Yes, Say and Cedric. Because Chrissy is in, that's where Chrissy is noted in that tribal council saying, at some point,
it was only 24 hours ago. It was only the day before.
Right. So it's Chrissy, if you're doing the whole like, we need to make a move, we need to make a move, we need to make a move, and they say, oh, so you're trying to make a move tonight? And she goes, nah, later. And it's like, I feel like if later is tomorrow, then tonight might be the time. I don't know. I've already told you, strategy on Survivor is not my strong suit. But yeah, if you don't have the numbers today, it sounds like you could have had them yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the people were on Mitch, including a Survivor alumni, Rick Devins, who responded to Mitch and said, now the numbers are worse, though. Someone else on the bottom should have stood up with Chrissy and said, look, they are telling us the plan. Now's the time to make our move. Right now, it doesn't get easier after we lose a number. Survivor 38, episode 8 is a nice reference. You're being such a passenger, Kyle.
Yeah, such a passenger. I mean, Rick's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's saying, if you think the numbers are bad now, are you just hoping they will magically get better? I love Mitch. I think that Mitch is a potential. Like, I really would like to see Mitch just start winning some immunities, because I think that will shake up this alliance. Because one, Mitch not being in the strong person alliance just feels like, I feel like that's a mistake, because we've seen Mitch in challenges and Mitch don't miss. So I'm thinking that we could be due for something like that. But yeah, Rick is not wrong. Last week you had the opportunity to vote out anybody, and you chose Cedric. Who wouldn't be in the strong person's alliance ever? Cedric. You know what I'm saying? Never in a million years would he ever get that call. So maybe don't vote him out. He's never going to win anything. You can get him later on. Same thing with Say. She's such a nuisance. Oh my God. Look, she's done. Where is she going to go? How is she going to affect you negatively in the game? Y'all should be working together against these people who have very noticeable, final twos, Joe and Eva, or who looked as though they could physically do whatever they wanted, and maybe like a Kyle or even David. So I don't know, or Shaheen even. So I don't know. I just feel like people were saying what Chrissy was saying last week, and it might be a little too late for some people.
I think that things are going to flip around this week. I do think that we're going to see at the final 9, historically, a big vote. I think that we're going to see this big, strong group start to fracture.
I hate predictable Survivor, and so I actually kind of, don't shoot, but I'm kind of against that. Because I think the predictability is there. Like, I think for us seasoned watchers, we're like, yeah, but it's going to switch. It's going to flip, right? This is the chance to make a move. Shaheen has every incentive now to make the swap. Mary, who is on the periphery of this strong person alliance, probably should be flipping as well. But Eva could have this advantage, and we don't know what it is. So maybe Eva's advantage shuts it down. I know that would make a lot of people very angry, because they were hoping that the people at the top end up at the bottom of these alliances, and things switch over. But I think for me, that's the least predictable version of Survivor, is that like there's a thing that's about to happen and Eva shuts it down, and I like to see the world burn. So that's kind of what I'm rooting for.
Okay. Chappell, going back to Say, after the episode, she commented on the ratings. She also said this. She said, this episode could have been an email.
Where have we heard that before, Rob? So what podcaster just like pretty much has that tattooed on his ass? That's me. I love telling somebody that we could have skipped to the end of this. I mean, essentially, this is the ending of the last episode too. It was Chrissy saying, we got to make a move. Y'all aren't playing the game. But yeah, now here we are, not playing the game. I mean, it's too late. I mean, don't get me. Everybody says the same thing. They're not playing the game with you. They're not playing the game with you in mind. You're not in the majority alliance. But Chrissy said that last episode. And so that was the chance. I think some people will fall victim to that. But there's always a chance for things to flip and to switch. But with the way Survivor passes out all these alliances, I mean, these advantages and stuff like that in the late game, who knows? She might, I don't know. Anything could happen. I'll say that. Anything could happen.
Okay. Going back to the Ron Clark Academy, and here's Say with another person from this season. Here's a Instagram story of Charity with Say in the game, ... insufferable. In real life, I'll protect her at all costs.
I love a good pre-jury alliance, I appreciate this. I think that both of them have had some very critical things said about them throughout the season. And so for them to come together and say, you know what, maybe we don't play Survivor well together, but in real life, we could put some of these differences aside. And I too would protect Say at all costs. So I get it.
Okay. Well, then here is from Say's post, the same picture that Say writes, "I'm her only friend," by the way.
Dear God. Say did not vote Charity out, right? She voted for Cedric.
She voted for Cedric. That's right.
I mean, so the data supports exactly what she's saying.
The two of them both wanted to vote out Eva. They couldn't come together.
No. Eva is so fun to talk about as a Survivor player because in the preseason, she said, "I'm not working with these women." And then every episode, she is going to show that she absolutely is not. I love a Survivor who can like call their shot. Like, this is my strategy and I'm sticking to it. And yeah, stay mad. But she told y'all at Ponderosa that this is the game that she was about to play. It just can't nobody stop her. Right now, she's running circles around y'all now. How it ends? Shot. Yeah, but how it ends will be interesting. You know, I don't know. Just your knee-jerk reaction. Do you think Eva could beat Joe in like a final 3?
I don't think that Eva could beat Joe in the final 3. I think that there are scenarios where Eva can win in the final 3, but I don't think that if she sits with Joe, especially when during that moment when it was Joe who brought, like, I mean, she would have to really dazzle the rest of the way. But I think that people are going to look at Joe as being the person who is the more the person that has brought more leadership to the pair.
If I'm voting somebody out, I'm going after Eva first every time because I feel like if you vote out Joe, let's say Joe falls and Eva, of course, is not going to be in on voting Joe out and he won't be in on voting her out. But then that gives you that one person on the jury who's going to advocate for them. And then that also gives the other person that winner like narrative that like if they could just make it, they're the underdog. I think Eva, if she makes it to the final 3 after Joe goes, then she's won a couple challenges to get herself there. And that's one of those things like you don't want to sit next to that at the jury at all. But with Joe, I could see Joe kind of like him losing Eva and then being in the game. I could see him kind of stumbling his way into the final 3, you know, where he's not exactly a priority, but because he's now kind of been defanged and he gets there in more like a Mike Turner situation, right? Where he gets there and he's able to talk about his game, but he doesn't really know the strengths, where somebody who could probably pull some strings under the radar and get there with him, I think they have a better chance of beating Joe. But together, you're right. I think that Joe beats Eva if they make it there together.
Okay. All right. Chappell, this was something that got flagged for me this week, and I wanted to get your take on it, where there's been some talk. They announced the cast of Survivor versus the World. We talked about it last week. And so here is Logan from Twitter, who holds up the picture of Parvati and then says that basically every time that Parvati is on Survivor, there is some kind of recession that happens. 2007 to 2009, they lump in 3 seasons into the Great Recession of between 2006, 2008, and 2010, then point to 2020, and then 2025, Australia versus the World. I don't think you can give 3 seasons to one recession from 2007 to 2009. Especially when Heroes vs. Villains is in 2010.
Right. It's technically after that. But when did it film, Rob? Is that did it film in 2009?
It did film in 2009.
See, that's different. So there's some overlap there. Is Parvati the Great Recessioner? You know, is this her biggest skill? I don't know. She's gonna be on Australian Survivor versus the World. And so that's gonna be fun. But maybe the recession will happen, no disrespect to the rest of the world, but maybe to them. I'm good. I was there for all of those other recessions. I don't need that again. Like, maybe the world can have this one. I'm done.
Bring it to the world.
Yeah, bring it to the world, not us. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. We're part of the world group. USA would be in there. What is it? New Zealand, South Africa as well. But I don't know. Let the Australians have it. It's okay. You know, David just won $5 million, which is more in Australia too. Let the Aussies carry it. They got this.
Carrying the global economy. Okay. Yeah. Chappell, here's another viral tweet from the Survivor world this week, where this is a tweet from Mike. He says, "Never let anyone tell you that Survivor is fake." And so you see then Spencer from Survivor Second Chances at the start of the game, and then here he is very late in the same game of Survivor.
Is this the same season? Like, are we sure this is the same
I do
season, or is
believe
this
it's
like
the same season because I don't think that they would describe him as being from Cagayan in Cagayan.
But it's the first picture from Cagayan and the second picture from the second check? Because it just seems like he's been through the ringer in this one. Dear God.
Mhm. Yeah. He has been through the ringer, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
But is anybody saying that Survivor was fake?
Back in your day, they used to say it was built on a sound set. Okay, when you applied for Survivor, you were completely all in on this is real. But did a tiny part of you think you were going to pull up and they'd be like, all right, it's not real?
No. But I was like a big super fan. I knew all this stuff.
Yeah, you had already done your research.
Did Survivor get harder? Like maybe like can we find a picture of me like day one, not day one strokes, day one of Survivor the Amazon and day 38 of Survivor the Amazon?
I never turned down an opportunity to look at Rob and the wife beater, like like with the machete or without the machete. There's probably something there. No one is saying Survivor is fake now. But look, that's a different time. That was real Survivor. This abbreviated, abridged Survivor, it's not the same. I don't think anybody comes on the season looking like Spencer and leaving like Spencer in the new era. I will say that.
Yeah.
I personally don't have a preference between 26 and 39 days. Like, I don't care. But it'd be pretty difficult to go in looking like that and ending like that now.
Oh, Chappell, there's a knock on the Club Condo podcast door. Let's check it out. Who is it?
You talking shit, Chappell?
Speaking of people who were only on
Omer.
Survivor for 20-ish days. Hi,
Yes.
Omer.
Hello.
Omer, what did you think about this? Did you ever think that Survivor was fake before you saw these two pictures of Spencer from the beginning
You definitely
of
didn't
Survivor
look like that after your
and the
season,
end of
Omer.
Survivor?
How dare you? I never thought Survivor was fake. As soon as Richard Hatch won, right? They didn't want that. Even they didn't know what they needed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They wanted Rudy to win.
If it was fake, he would not have won that season. That is a fact.
Yeah,
it would have been Rudy.
that's right. So what's going on, Omer?
But then they started rigging it once Amazon hit. Then they got the winner they wanted. They didn't want this guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay.
They knew better.
Omer, what's new?
I'm coming to you live from your old home, Los Angeles.
Yeah, I was we went with my kids. We went to an arcade yesterday, and I saw on the TV. I could have sworn I saw your sister on a commercial for Jeopardy.
Yes, we're in the midst of filming right now, so no spoilers, but I'm here with my DP. I just didn't bring any ice, and you shouldn't either, Save me.
Yeah. No ice in the Diet Pepsi?
Not right now.
Okay. All right.
Omer, question. How many days did you last on Survivor?
23.
23.
And we lost
Okay.
25 pounds, so that's a pound.
Oh,
a
wow.
day. Yeah.
So you're like a pretty big Survivor historian. How many other iconic players pre-New Era lasted 23 days? Who's like on your who's in the club?
Okay, that lasted 23 days or thereabouts. Okay, well,
About
in the early days, they were
23-ish
voted out on
days.
day 24, so we're gonna have to go with like Kelly Goldsmith, Alicia Calloway, Greg Buis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody
so
else?
That's,
I mean, those are all
anybody
iconic
else.
names, but I'm trying to who is the most iconic name? Because those are fine. What do you got from like who was out like day 24 from Thailand?
From Thailand, that would be Aaron Collins.
Yeah, see, I'm
He
not
doesn't
these.
exist.
These are the Omer types, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
We should do Jeopardy like this and not make bank.
Yeah.
I mean,
Survivor
look,
Jeopardy is made for you, sir.
I think you'd clean up. I think that nobody else would have a chance. What'd you think about the show this week, Omer?
Why don't they do something at the bottom? Poor things.
Omer,
Yeah.
were you ever really at the bottom? Do you even know how it feels?
When I was, I didn't know. That was the problem. You know what? You had put me at the bottom where I knew I was at the bottom. I would have been like a honey badger. Like I would have embarrassed myself. I would have lost all dignity trying to save myself.
Would you have been like Chrissy?
10, but times 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
no.
not go down without the house coming with me. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
feel like that's part of my like Survivor regrets where, I went out on Survivor All Stars and I got blindsided on a 5-1 vote. I do wish I would have known that I was going out. I think I would have like I couldn't play the shot in the dark. I couldn't do anything
Yeah,
about
what
it.
would you have done?
But I would
Let's
have
run it
loved
back.
to have been like, oh, really? Like, that's rich.
What would you have said to Rob and Amber and Susan?
They're
Hawk?
gonna do it.
I probably would have said, I don't think I would have had any ill will towards Sue Hawk. I felt like that she wasn't calling the shots or.
Well, maybe that's the person you should have been mad at because she should have been working with you then.
Yeah. I feel like that maybe that should have been, maybe she didn't see herself in that position.
Would you have pulled out the finger?
Yeah.
I think I probably would have been intimidated. I don't think I would have.
But I think Omar makes a good point though. If you're at the bottom, yeah, Rob, you're right. This is if you're at the bottom and you know it, then you're in a unique spot to where you're not being blindsided. People can't say you weren't willing to make a move. And then you can go out like shaking your fist and being like, if you would just come with me, we could have done something to stop this. Asia was on Survivor and she kind of goes out in that spot, right? Where she's like, what are y'all doing? What are we going to do? And we're like, Asia was right. Now, don't get me wrong. It got her nowhere. But at least she got to do that instead of going out.
Are you still a Genevieve hater, Chappelle? Is that still
I'm not a Genevieve hater. I'm a Lavo hater. Everybody on that tribe, except for Asia, can go. Everybody. All of them.
So Chrissy, I feel like this week did get a lot of people like standing her on social media. I felt like I saw some of that of like, yes, queen, you tell them.
Yeah, but according to Twitter, you and Stephen Fishback are famously anti-Chrissy. Because
why do y'all hate
very
Chrissy so much?
pro-David.
No, we're anti-Chissy, not Chrissy.
Yeah, right. Everybody's podcast has an issy now. I don't know how I feel about this.
What was the take on the whole who was right, David or Chrissy? Because I have an opinion.
What's your
David
opinion?
says he's right and Chrissy says she's right. So I don't know. I don't really have a take on like who actually is right. What do you think, Omar?
Well, I mean, I'm in Los Angeles right now, so I've got to say that David's right. But okay, but what I will say is, why are all these people on the top being so judgy for the people on the bottom trying to play the game?
You gotta shut it down.
Like,
gotta make them wrong.
Nobody's just going to sit down where they're getting put down, So let them.
But Omar, aren't they just doing that same thing that you just said? Aren't they sitting down while they're getting put down? Like, sure, Chrissy is not, but I mean, the next person.
No, the others are just waiting for it. Yeah, that's true. They're just waiting for it.
They're lined up.
So can I just ask you, Omar? This week they did the Get a Grip challenge, hanging on the pole, and Jeff talked about that challenge. He said perhaps our most iconic challenge, Get a Grip. Agree or disagree?
No, it's not the most iconic challenge.
Okay, go.
Maybe top 15.
What's give us like a strong 5. Yeah.
Hands on the idol.
Yeah.
Quest for fire.
Pause. That shit cute. That's from 50 years ago. Like, is that really?
Okay, douche. You could have. You're listening to them on the new. That's too boring for television.
Yeah.
It's not.
Ain't it?
No,
no, it's not. It's not. I mean, it still slaps on Australian Survivor. The irony is,
but don't tell them
that most of Survivor's most iconic challenges they don't do anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speak on it. Touchy subjects.
Okay,
That's
a good one. How about one? Sumo at sea.
Yes.
Oh,
you know what?
Yeah.
Jeff even came out to say that he doesn't like those challenges. They make the contestants too angry.
The thing is, that's crazy. There is a way to do these physical challenges without causing a medevac every 5 seconds. Sumo at sea was not a bad one. And I'll tell you right now, I was ready for Sumo at sea. I was a little bit worried. I saw Jonathan. I was like, I'm going to get fucked. But then I saw Zach, Romeo, and Daniel. And I was like, I'm going to body any of them right now. Let's go. I'll cut Zach in half.
Maybe could you call Romeo and see if he'll come to the hotel to do Sumo at sea with the pillows? Do you think that you could do that?
I'm getting lunch with him Thursday, so I'll bring the pillow.
Look, we've still got probably at least 25 minutes on this podcast if you can get him over. I mean,
would
Zach
wait.
Werdenberger also
Wait,
is
are you
probably
asking me to
nearby.
lure him over to this hotel under false pretenses
Yeah,
and then
just text
body
him
him
and
with a
say, "Hey,
pillow?
do you want to do some
Like
sumo at
do
sea with
sumo at
me in this
sea.
hotel? I
Yeah.
have
You think
pillows."
Romeo
and-
knows what sumo at sea is?
Yeah.
Please. Actually, I'll
Well,
ask him.
I mean, Zach knows.
My
Yeah,
favorite my favorite
Zach knows
sumo
a
at sea
lot.
moment is definitely Misty and Baylor when she's like, "Damn, I gotta beat my daughter ass."
Yeah. And then she like hits her.
She like
in
takes a dive.
She's like, imagine I'm
Yeah.
one of the ex-husbands, mom, and then she like hits her in the face and makes her
You know,
bleed.
for someone that shows up all the time, she didn't really show up to that challenge. That's all I
Well,
have to
then
say
she
about
was
that.
like checked out after she made Missy Baylor bleed.
Yeah,
Y'all, they put
pathetic.
that on TV. They put
Yeah.
this woman on TV telling her mom to pretend that she's one of her ex-husbands, and then she hit her in the face. Like, excuse
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, was that the first sign of Survivor getting soft? Because we saw Laura and Sierra, and Laura didn't give a fuck. She just
Yeah, I'm trying to think
knocked
if
her
they did
daughter's ass
sumo
in.
at sea past that point. That might have been the last time we did it.
That
I'll
might have
ask,
been the one that broke
I'll
it
ask
for
Wentworth
sure.
tonight.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, but they
God.
had, even at Winners at War, they had a physical challenge with the little, the thing they had the opening one with the ring.
Yeah,
yeah.
they'll do like some sort of like wrestling, but that's not sumo.
Not in the new era.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in the new
They
era.
didn't do the ring.
They don't.
I was again
They said
ready
y'all-
for the ring.
They
I was
said
gonna
y'all too
dump
weak.
Zach's head in the water, just like remember when Eric flipped Amanda?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
was ready.
Omer, one other one that I think is iconic that they don't really do anymore: gross food eating.
Yes,
we
also true.
did get the butak.
It's actually not. It's not gross. It's not called Gross Food Challenge anymore. It's
What?
International Delicacies.
Okay, sure.
No,
You can call it-
no. I'm gonna push back because yes, there are definitely times where it's like, hey, this is a local tradition or something like that, and we're like, yeah, no, this like, that's not cool. But when they're like adding hot sauce and milk and all this other kind of shit, that's not a delicacy anywhere. Stop.
Yeah.
It. Stop.
But
putting all this shit in
Robert,
the
how
cup.
did it feel
Yes.
to eat a grasshopper?
It was very dry. It was very dry.
Sucks.
Yeah, like Jeff couldn't get like the Pearl Islands like a wheel of like, okay,
Right.
we're making a disgusting shake. Who's insulted by that?
Nobody
of, like,
was. I was
fish
insulted.
guts and milk. David would be like,
It didn't
"Oh."
even sound that bad. Like an octopus with some mango juice and some seawater. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, Michelle Tesoro was like, gimme, yummy.
What a fumble.
Yeah. Okay.
She
All right.
lasted about 23
Famously.
days, didn't she, Omer?
The 15 Chappelle.
I'm just saying, y'all made it to about the same spot.
No, that's
I
Daniel
believe
Strunk,
that,
and-
to be fair, I believe that Chrissy made it to the same day as Michelle Tesoro.
yes,
I believe
yeah,
that just was
Chappelle.
what we just saw was night 15 on Survivor 48.
Michelle could have made the merge and the jury.
She
There
would
you
have
go.
been. She would have been on the jury. She would have been the second juror. She played now.
Who would
So-
she have voted for? She would have voted for Lillian, right? Come on.
No. What?
I don't even think she voted. She might have voted for Lil to go back in the game, so she didn't have to hang out
Well,
with Lil.
Chappelle's a famous Sandra hater, so he would have voted
That
for
is a
Lil.
lie. That is a lie, and you know it, cockatoo boy. Speaking of,
Okay.
how's the zoo? I know you went to the zoo. You
Oh
went down
my
there.
God.
know you went to the
I
zoo.
have literally wanted to go to the San Diego Zoo since I was a child. When I would go to the library, remember the library?
No.
Yes.
And I would I would rent a CD-ROM. Do you remember a CD-ROM?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Virtual tour of the zoo, of the San Diego Zoo. I'd write lists of animals I wanted to see. And this is the first time I got to go. It was
How was it?
amazing. It was
Yeah.
great, except some of their notable antelopes on their website were not present.
Do you know them by name?
I don't know if they're dead or shipped somewhere else, but they were not there.
All right. Well, Omer, thank you for stopping by Club Condo.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay. And best of luck in the Alex Trebek studio.
You don't need to wish me luck.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm just going to be sitting there.
Are you going to participate in our game today? Is that going to happen?
I'll vibe with it. It's up to you guys. I heard there was a
I mean,
game
I don't
about. Maybe I shouldn't spoil it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hold on.
I don't know.
Well, okay. Actually, so yeah, let me make sure. Let me check in with Brandon Donlin here because I was told that there was a guest for the game. Is Omer the guest for the game?
Because if not, he can GTFO.
We're rolling with it. Let's keep
okay.
rolling.
You told me that a guest was coming when we got to when the game was happening.
Yeah,
he was
waiting, and then
we've been waiting on the
and
guest
then
to appear,
Omer
and all we got was
here
Omer.
before-
Right, we didn't know
before-
that he was the guest.
Sure. And I
it was
see
a
that now.
surprise.
But Club Condo's about going with the flow. You know
Going
what I
with
mean?
the flow, okay.
I had a Omer in. Let's do the game.
Wait,
All
Rob
right,
was famous last season when they dropped RHAP, and then Chappell, you finally got like 17 Club Condos this season. Like,
Yeah,
you had to outdo him that way.
I did. I'm sorry. It was bound to happen though. Honestly, like next season, what is Jeff going to promote? I think he's going to be like, oh yeah, come to recap kickback on Survivor. It's a whole thing. So yeah, this is working out perfectly for me. You don't know that. You don't know that.
All right, so
I'm still waiting to come on.
let's play this game that Brandon Donlin has cooked up for us. And so to segue, let's go ahead and introduce a tweet from this week's episode. So we saw Mary say during the most infamous or most iconic challenge. Brandon, did you agree with that? The Get a Grip most iconic challenge?
It's not top 40. It's
the hands
nowhere
Not
near
top
it.
40 is
40.
crazy.
The hands
It's a
up
top
one
fo-
too.
In 48 seasons, Get a Grip is in the top 40 challenges.
I don't so.
Think that's
I think it's top 20, but I don't think
It's
it's most
got to be
iconic.
top 20, maybe top 10. Like y'all not gonna give it top 10?
I think
give it
it's
top 10.
if I had to make a list,
15.
and maybe look, if this is the off season, maybe that's a podcast. I think it's probably like 9 or 10 at most iconic challenges.
What's the
We should-
other
Well,
than
who's
the Gabler
gonna-
moment that was referenced? What's the most iconic Get a Grip moment?
That was
Pre-Gabler.
Get a Grip wasn't even Gabler.
No, they'll get a grip
Oh,
at the pole.
the pole.
This Parvati standing on the pole. That's the most iconic moment.
I don't know why I'm thinking of the Gabler challenge. Yeah, that's top 10 for sure. That's top
Yes.
10.
Say
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I don't know why I'm
Thank
thinking of the
you.
Gabler challenge.
Well,
it's gonna
because
load down.
Charlie said that you need grip strength for that challenge, but
Sure.
that the stand on a pole is called Get a Grip.
Yes.
Yeah.
I retract that take that I just said. Nobody
Okay.
clip it.
All right.
Parvati
Was it
standing
Tyson
on that
climbed
pole.
up and down the pole. That
Yeah,
was an
yeah.
iconic moment.
And Hunter like hung on.
Hunter
upside
doing the
down.
backflip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ozzy being on the pole for a year. Those are iconic moments.
Okay.
I think that it's stupid that they're making these grooves small though. What's the point then?
I think
'Cause they
Hunter's
only-
showing off. I think they were like, we got to show him.
No,
He made it
because
look too easy.
Yeah, but the grooves in the actual pole, they're too small now.
Mhm.
Like, who cares?
no, I think they have to make this game harder because if anybody stays up there too long, they'll outlast Omer on the show because he was up there for a few hours, couple
You
days.
didn't have this challenge, right?
No, I mean
No,
they'll
we didn't.
outlast his
I
stay
could
on
not have
Survivor.
this one.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
I would
all
have
right.
gladly set up for the rice on this one.
So Mary said, I'm pretending this thing is my boyfriend as she was holding on to the pole, and then had to retract that on social media and say, so F what you heard me say on the poll. I'm single. And this is the song I wrote about our breakup. I'm single, and this is my single was right there, Brandon.
Oh, that's good. Brandon Donlin, Mary, if you're listening, come to me. We could
Yeah.
have banged that out quick.
Well, speaking of bang that out quick, it looks like that the album art here
God.
for her album is shoot. It looks like she's holding a gun.
So Zach and I listened to all 8 songs on this one car ride. Actually,
Yes.
every time I get in Zach's car, we just listen to Baby Teeth. And I need to send her a video of it. But it is, she's a pretty good singer, I have to say. Can I tell all the songs apart? Not always. They all sound similar, but they're all very good.
Okay. All right. Well, with that in mind, that sets up today's game. Brandon, tell us about whose lyrics are these?
So Mary joins a pantheon of Survivor musicians, folks that are on Survivor. They had an album before, they have an album during, some have an album afterward. So I listened to a lot of the songs of Survivor contestants of yore, and I wrote some of their lyrics down. And we're gonna guess, the 3 of you are gonna guess whose lyrics these are between 2 people. So for example, Rob, I'll let you read the lyrics, Rob, and then we'll talk about the 2 people that are listed. And this is round 1.
Okay. All right. Round 1. Okay. So we have on one side, we have Mary, and on the other side, we have Jacob Derwin. And it says, you hold me at arm's length when I just want to be held in your arms. Okay. All right. Which Survivor musician would write that beautiful verse. You hold me
This
at
has
arm's
to be
length.
Jacob.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that. Find me the person that would hold Mary at arm's length.
And Mary
Right.
doesn't need anyone to hold to be held in their arms. Mary's an independent wombat, you know? She doesn't need that. I think this is Jacob.
Yeah, I think this is giving Derwin energy.
I didn't even know Jacob Derwin was a musician until now. So
You
I'm gonna
never
go with
heard
Mary.
of Mira from Manhattan?
No.
Well,
So I'm
we
gonna
know
go
what
with Mary.
podcast series you didn't listen to, Chappelle.
Yeah, listen.
Wait,
His
the
music
next line
also
of this
is
must
great.
be about putting some rice in some socks. That's what I feel is the next verse.
So Rob, I
Okay.
actually sent you a folder of all of
Yeah.
the songs here. So the winner, you're gonna hear the line of the song, and that'll tell us who the winner is.
Wait, before we hear that, can Chappelle do his version of what this would sound like as a song?
No, I cannot. But I did guess that this was Mary and not Jacob.
Yeah.
Um,
And it sounds
you're
like
wrong.
it is Mary.
I just wanna be held in your arms.
Cause see, in the preseason, Mary said that her music is very reminiscent of like Amy Winehouse or Erykah Badu, and this really did feel like some Erykah Badu shit. So that's where I was going.
That is
I hate
Mary's
that you
song
were right.
"Cowboy," available on
Cowboy.
Spotify.
You
Stream
said you
Cowboy.
listen to Baby Teeth all the time with Zach Wertenberger.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm famously never listened to the lyrics.
But
I
yeah,
just-
what is Baby Teeth about?
Baby teeth.
I thought that's the name of the band.
Baby Teeth is Mary's, I guess, stage name, band
Stage name.
name, not sure, but she goes by Baby Teeth. via
is not
Spotify.
about something. Okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Which Survivor musician penned the lyric, I stand on the fields of pain and glory? Was it Billy Garcia or Ben Katzman?
Well, I think that Ben had both pain and glory,
Yeah.
whereas Billy just had pain.
Pain. Yeah. I don't know if Billy Garcia ever, I mean, he did have the glory of experiencing Candace's love, but outside of that, I don't know if he had pain and glory. I feel like, is this from Tears on the Beach? It seems like a line from that.
Agreed.
Is there,
What do you think,
are there
Chappelle?
fields? Are there fields on the beach as well? I'm going with.
There's fields.
I'm going with. Oh yeah, Surrey Fields. Yeah, if anything.
Sharif.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
That's
I'm
a
going
different
with
season.
Billy. I'm going
Yeah.
with Billy.
Billy.
Yeah,
Okay,
Pain and glory.
Chappelle
Billy
says
knows all about
Billy.
that.
Rob and Omer say Ben Katzman.
Ben.
Let's listen. What do we got?
I stay on the fields of pain and glory.
Who
Is that Billy?
So, although that's not Billy singing, that is a song from Forsaken that Billy wrote. So that is
Yes!
a Billy.
Okay, Chappelle's
Yes,
too good at
wait.
this game.
Can we do like a live? Can we do like HOH style, like our scores right now?
Okay, so it's Chappelle 2 and Rob and Omer have 0.
Yeah.
Chappelle, you cheating in this game? You know all the
Oh,
answers
yeah.
before?
I have a small MP3 of all the Survivor songs that I just like sit around and sing. Yeah, I totally know all the answers to this.
Yeah.
Is one of the
No.
pairings going to be
You don't
Lacey
listen
Linares
to
and Bryce?
Forsaken music when you get into like a emo sad boy phase, do you?
How did you know I'd be having emo sad boy?
'Cause you
phases is
tweet
the real
about
question.
it.
Get out of my business though. Damn.
All right. Round
It's not a
3.
phase for him. It's all the time.
Right. I'm trying to be
All right.
Deepu's a
All
singer.
right. Okay.
I thought he was just on Beast Games.
Okay, here we go. Which Survivor musician wrote the lyric, I will take care of your body, I'll be gentle, don't you scream? Was
Pray to
it
God this wasn't Sifu.
Chase Rice or was it Sifu? I will take care of your body, I'll be gentle, don't you scream?
This
Now-
is disturbing either way, but I think it's
because
less
it like
disturbing from
I get
Chase.
it. I'm sure it's like sort of like, hey, like your body is a wonderland type situation, but it also could like be read as like a Dexter threat.
Fair. I think
I will take care of your
Sifu
body.
gives a
I'll be
little-
gentle.
you know,
Don't you scream.
Sifu was OTTPP on Beast Games, so I don't think this would be him.
He did not have
Either
good
context.
edgic on Beast Games.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It's
great.
a lot of
It wasn't
INV and then OTTP done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't see Sifu as the gentle type. No disrespect to my guy. He feels to me is like a little bit more tender than that. So I'm gonna go with Chase Rice. It just feels like
Yeah, I'm gonna say Chase Rice also. What do you say, Omer?
Yeah, it's Chase Rice.
Okay, all right. This is you're Chase Rice also?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
sweep
for sure.
it for Chase Rice. Let's see.
I'ma take care of your body. I'll be gentle, don't you scream.
Yeah.
Damn,
That was
that's
very
Sifu.
country.
Damn it, I finally got one wrong. Oh, that was Chase. No,
There was a second there where I thought it might be Sifu.
see, Sifu, see.
Now, Brandon, how did you come aware of all these lyrics?
So this song is very good. It's called this is Chase Rice. The song is called Ride. It's a great song. And then everything else I did research on. This song I knew.
Wait, that's an oxymoron. You said this song is good, and isn't it a country song?
Listen,
That's
nobody loves country
disrespectful.
music more than me. I'm a big country music guy.
I'm like top 10, top 15, top 40, maybe even.
So I've
Like,
known
get a
this
grip.
song, and this lyric I knew would be particularly funny for this game, and I thought Sifu was maybe the most believable to have, like, in the Survivor verse, to who would have said this lyric. Like, who
Not
else
gentle.
would have?
Okay.
We'll see. We'll keep going
All right.
here.
All right, so we have here the lyric feels like the lion's den, and you're right here in it. It looks like that we have Baylor Wilson or Jay Maya, who wrote feels like the lion's den, and you're right here in it.
I'm not gonna like this. This did not look like Baylor for a second. I was looking for
I thought it was Sarah
an
Lucina
artificial
for a
leg
second.
for a second. I thought it was Kelly Bufruno.
Mhm.
I think this is Baylor.
Feels like the lion's den, and you're right here in it.
So I listen to Jay Maya's music, and this does not stand out to me as a Jay Maya lyric. So maybe I'm not a real fan.
It's not
But
Jay
I also-
Maya anymore, so clearly you're not a real fan.
What
I
is
also
it?
don't. Yeah, she changed her stage name recently.
It's Janani.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that.
look into it, Rob.
yeah.
Jenny
I
K.
mean,
Jaws.
I still said Spencer before.
Wow.
To me, it's like, what were you when you were on Survivor?
Sure,
That's
sure,
fair.
sure.
That's fair.
Right,
We'll
right,
take
right,
it.
right, right.
Yeah.
But feels like the lion's den, and you're right here in it.
So I've never, like I said, I don't really listen. I don't listen to Baylor's music, but this just doesn't stand out to me as a lyric. Now, don't get me wrong.
This feels like a Baylor to me. I feel like from the little
Agreed.
bit of the sticky situation, I feel like that she is big on the simile based off of the little bit of her musical writings that I know of.
Okay.
Feels like the lion's den, and you're right here in it.
Okay.
Wait, a simile is like. Can you remind us what a simile is? Your children are in school, so you should
I believe
know this.
a simile is using
like
or
or
as, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's like Baylor's.
As opposed
Baylor's
to
so annoying. It's like she's on Club Condo.
No, it's like a
Oh.
sticky situation, like having gum on your shoe or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that song's full of simile.
yeah.
Yeah.
So all right.
Yeah.
Let's go with I'm gonna go with Baylor.
Chappelle, take Jay on this one so that we can get.
Why do I have to take Jay on this? You take Jay on this one. I'm going
No,
back.
because I want to get the point and.
Oh, you want me to throw the challenge for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. It is.
Feels like the lion's den, and you're right there in it.
Yeah.
Baylor Wilson.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in the lion's den less.
Mm.
I mean, it's a lion's den. I don't ever want to be there.
Yeah,
for any
what felt like
circumstance.
the lion's den?
It?
Yeah. We don't know. It
Missy's-
could have been anything.
Missy's
Okay.
fifth marriage.
Shit.
Okay. Who?
I'm sorry. Who are these people?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, so we have a lyric. Everything I do is filled with lies and deceit. Can't someone sew me up? And that's so
What does that even mean?
S-E-W. Is it, which friend of the podcast is this? Honest Music or Whitney Duncan? Everything I
Now-
do is filled with lies and deceit. Can't someone
Like,
sew
in what
me
way?
up?
Are they sewing up the mouth, the other orifices in the body?
Well,
like, I don't understand
perhaps too much lies and deceit.
Nothing Whitney has ever done has been filled with lies and deceit. So I would have to lean toward Otis music here, just as my knee-jerk reaction. He's a known liar. I mean, he's played Survivor twice. Yeah.
Yep.
Twice?
Yeah.
Can't someone sew me up?
I'm going to go with Whitney on this. I need the point, and I think that Chappell is wrong.
I'll go with Aris here. I feel like that seems like some sort of like deep poetic thought that Otis might be trying to share with us. I'm not sure if the Whitney Duncan lyric has that many layers.
I just don't think Whitney Duncan would sing about being filled with lies and deceit. I just don't see
Yeah.
why she would do that. Like, I
It's not her
personally just,
vibe.
it's not her vibe, saying that on a record. So
Okay.
I would go with Otis as well.
All right.
An off the
Here we
record
go.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Play it.
Definitely wouldn't be anything I would admit to.
Everything I do is filled with lies.
Hey!
Can't someone sew me up?
So
There you
so
go.
if he's filled to where he's bursting out, because why does he need to be sewn up if he's already filled? Like, what? I'm sorry. Like, is it like there's a hole that's letting the lies and deceit in, and he needs them to close it? What is he saying here?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like sew them up so they can't do any more of those lies and deceit.
Hmm.
Oh, like,
if you
the
sew up their
secret
mouth,
getting
you
out.
can't lie anymore.
I don't know. Maybe
Right.
he's like so broken, like he needs to be put back together.
You know this man in real life.
Oh,
Why
Yeah.
is he so brooding?
Yeah, ask him.
You know,
He's very brooding. Yeah.
why?
So-
He's not Vetus.
Yeah, he's a
Our
man of
final
many
round
talents,
here.
but I just don't think singing is one of them. There better be
Okay.
Teddy Whiteys in this.
There, unfortunately, there's no Teddy White.
All right.
So we have 5 people that were in the game, but were not the people whose song it was, right? We have Whitney, we've got Jenny, aka J Maya, Sifu, Ben, or Jacob Darwin. The lyric, "You seemed to share my secret sin." Is that one of their lyrics or a lyric from the band Survivor who sings "Eye of the Tiger"? Is this a
Yeah,
lyric
but the
from one of
band
their...
Survivor probably has like 100 songs.
Yeah, this it could be from one of their lesser known hits.
You seemed to share my secret scene. Well, did you or did you not? I'm going with the
Wait.
field.
How is the field
No.
not Survivor though? Like, in my mind, Survivor has the more songs, right? There's no way that they have as many songs as the band Survivor, right?
Yeah, if
Am
you're
I
playing the
tripping?
percentages, but
Yeah. So I think that's the field. I think the odds that it's one of these other 5 people is slim to none.
I'm playing.
I think the
game
bigger question is
maker.
what would Brandon Donlin do?
Yeah.
And I think that does he put in a completely random band for no reason? Or
I mean, is it
They're
random?
called Survivor. If I put in,
Right.
Metro Station, that'd be a completely random band.
How dare
I
you?
am gonna go. Wait, what is Chappelle going with? I'm going with the opposite of that.
He said the band
I'm
Survivor.
going with Survivor.
I'm going with the field.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
going
take
with
the
Metro
field
Station.
also. All right.
I'm always
And you seem to share my secret sin.
Shake it.
You seem to share my secret sin.
The
Damn it,
band
it's Jacob
Survivor.
Derwin.
What
Oh.
song is that?
Yes.
That is I believe that song's called. Is it "High on Me"? Is that?
Oh,
what it's
you
called?
don't. I don't know.
"High on
I-
You." This song is called "High on You." Final answer.
Gun to my head, could not have named another song.
High from Survivor 42?
High spelled
Over.
H-A-I.
See if you can get High to come down and come to Sumo at
We have to
Sea
go
in the
to
hotel.
Louisiana for that. It's too
Oh yeah.
hot.
How would you have felt if you were up against it? We know you would have felt if you were picking on people smaller than you, like Romeo and Zach. But what about High? What do you
Oh,
how
I
you think
could
you would have done?
destroyed him too.
Oh baby, when you inevitably play again, we don't have to sign you up because I'm tired of you talking all this trash. I don't feel like you got it in.
Yeah.
I famously said that before Dwight got his new glow up, I could have kicked his ass.
And by glow
but,
up, you mean steroids? Because we seen it. This is-
Yeah. Brandon, how would you have done a Sumo at Sea?
I thought about this while it was being talked about. I'm not small. I do think I have like a bigger presence on my side. I
Yeah.
think I would have been fine. You know what I really liked when who was it in Heroes versus Villains who kind of just moves? I guess it's James and Randy.
Yeah.
They're going
Yeah.
at it. And like, if you're Randy charges at James and then James just, stuffs him, but like, just move out of the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel
think
like
that would be my move.
I could have just unlocked the strategy. I feel good about that.
The Olay.
Yeah,
but strictly like
like
brute strength wise, you probably could have knocked Brando on his ass.
yeah.
I mean, probably we could use that hotel room if you give me a flight for tomorrow. We'll get on that bed.
Can we do a celebrity death match with Brando and Brandon?
Might be my favorite thing in the world that we've ever talked about here on Club Condo. Because like now I want to cast what Sumo C would look like with maybe like the undercard, right? We don't need to see what Jonathan would do.
Yeah, Brandon and I were talking earlier about some content that he could be doing, and he's got all the cameras from when we did the social game that he could set up at his apartment. Should he just have survivors come over and do Sumo at Sea in his apartment?
Actually, let's go. Actually, your next RHAP live event, can we do that at the commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wrestle.
I can referee.
Sumo in apartment C? What do you think?
Yeah.
What was that show that was on CBS?
Joe's Apartment?
No, there was not Veronica's Closet. It was don't
trust B in Apartment 23.
B in Apartment 23.
Sure.
Yeah. Don't trust the Sumo at Apartment C.
Yeah. Brandon, I think people would watch this on our Instagram. It would be lit. It's like you'd be like kind of like having like chicken fights in your apartment.
Sure.
Of like, oh, today, okay, here we go. Here we've got Caleb and we've got Jake O'Kane here today for Sumo in Apartment C.
Good old Survivor cockfight.
This not the cockfight. This could be our foray into a different streaming service, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
If we want to do a different paid for service, I think this is the move.
I mean, look, has Ozzy done Sumo at Sea?
He definitely had a good cockfight here and there, I'm sure. When it comes to but we've ventured into this in the realm before, with Big Brother boxing. This sounds like something Survivor Sumo at Sea. We could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the insurance like? Sky high, probably.
Yeah. Brandon, I'm not joking. This is a good idea.
I'll put the calls out.
I mean, do the cushions come off your couch?
I don't want to, expose a lot of cheese at dust.
Yeah. Because it's not a pillow fight. You need like couch cushions for Sumo at Sea.
I want to do it, but I don't want to fly to New York to do it.
Okay, well maybe we can do we can
bring the cushions up.
I mean, who would you take on from Canada?
I think that of the people in Canada, I could beat Erica.
Shit, no, you
Marianne.
See if Erica wants to do Sumo at Sea versus you for the podcast.
She wouldn't go down without a fight. Caleb, I think he'll win, but it'll be closer than anyone would think.
I want to see you versus Tom Laidlaw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could clock him. He's so
You and Kane is actually an interesting match to me. I think you and Kane's pretty even.
I think that you and Marianne, I think it could be, mixed gender, but I think I think it would be feisty.
It would be. She wouldn't go down without a fight, but she would lose.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we got to start to wrap up, so let's leave it there. Omer, what can people check you out on?
Instagram, Twitter, Chat BCC, which I've unfortunately been off the ball on because of the West Coast issue.
Oh.
But we'll be back as soon as we're on the East Coast.
Okay.
And check out Jeopardy Masters, premiering April 30th on ABC.
Yes.
I know.
Okay.
It's during prime time. It actually competes against Survivor, which is an issue.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being here today, Omer, and we look forward to hearing more stories from your West Coast trip.
Omer, is it true your sister has played more days of Jeopardy than you have Survivor?
That's false news.
The gap is closing, though.
The gap is closing.
All right, Chappell, what's coming up for you?
I'm about to text Omer. I don't know why he doesn't talk to me anymore. We used to be friends, and now he goes to
literally have said, bring me on to talk about your murderous Winnie the Pooh anytime, and I've yet to hear a date about it.
We didn't. Oh God, you're so whiny. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll talk. And then me, you can catch me talking about Battle Camp. That's coming out on Netflix soon. Me and Kirsten are going to talk about it. It's the Netflix All-Stars doing these competitions that Omer couldn't beat them in.
I'm literally going to that premiere event tomorrow. So.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't even. I'm not even on this.
They should have cast you. Why didn't you audition for the show?
No, not on Netflix. I'm not going on Netflix. I'm saying that you could have asked me to be a correspondent instead of Kirsten McInnes.
Okay,
famous
well, look.
Canadian trash.
No, you take it back, damn it. Take it back now.
Issue an apology.
Now.
But we love Kirsten, but I'm just saying
Uh-huh.
we're both in the same trash category, and yet you went with her.
Liz, okay, yeah. If I had, when I had to pick my Canadian, she is toward the top of the rankings. Yes, you were just lower than that. You were just lower than that, but it's okay. Get us some footage from the.
You're saying you hate
premiere.
Kane?
No, Kane's higher than you. What? But yeah, get us some footage from the premiere, and then check us out. If you're listening to this, check us out on Nothing But Netflix. We talked about that. We also interviewed Sam and Sydney from $1 Million Secret, one of the hottest new reality shows that was on Netflix as well. So check that out too, and make sure you subscribe to the Nothing But Netflix pod on nothingbutpod.com.
Great job today, Chappelle, Brandon, Donlin. Anything else for you?
Follow Robin's podcast on Twitter and RHAP Grams on Instagram. I don't need a plug. I have so many followers already.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much for joining us. Fun show today. I'll be back with Kelly Wentworth later on tonight. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.